Hi guys, welcome back to the Baseline. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to talk about Diddy, the Mann Act, and the legal plot twist that nobody really saw coming. Or maybe you did, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think after you watch this. So, you ever watch someone fall off a cliff in slow motion? Like, not like a trip, not like a stumble. I'm talking full on arms flailing, Gucci drenched chaos, tumbling off the edge of a power and privilege, and somehow they still think they're going to stick the landing. Now, that's what we're watching, and it seems like we're watching it in real time. This Diddy case has felt like this arms flailing fall the whole way through. And now, the man who danced in diamonds is quietly begging the judge to compare his conviction to others who got hit with the same federal sex trafficking law. So, welcome to the part of the movie where the villain tries to plead. He's just a misunderstood side character. And it's interesting to watch. But let's talk about it, okay? So, here's the scene. Diddy convicted under the Mann Act twice. 0 priors, at least legally speaking, convictions related, right? And now his legal team and the prosecution have both been asked by the judge. They've both been asked by the judge to bring receipts, comparable cases, stats, and outcomes. Specifically, people convicted of the same charge with clean records. Now, just so you know for context, right? On paper, it sounds like basic due diligence on the judge's part, like legal housekeeping, so to speak. But in reality, that little ask, that courtroom moment, most folks probably skipped over, because that might just tell us everything about how this sentencing is actually going to go down. Because when a judge asks for comparable outcomes, he's not just browsing case law like he's shopping on Amazon. He's setting a stage. And that is very interesting to see. So let's try to clear something up, right? Yes, it's normal for judges to ask for prior case law, but it's never necessarily neutral, because it's kind of like your parents saying, I want to talk about your grades today, but you know something is coming. So I think that's what we're standing right now with this case. But what does it actually mean? It could be one of 3 things, and none of them spell get out of jail for P. Diddy Combs, right? Now, number 1 is the judge is doing what we call, or a lot of people would call, a judicial cover. He already knows where he wants to go with this sentencing. Now he's just building the receipts to back it up so nobody can scream bias later on. 2 is he's planning to slap Diddy hard, and he's pulling the legal equivalent of don't make me find examples to prove others got hit just as bad or worse. And 3 is he's stress testing the legal limits, as in how far can I go with this sentence without getting appealed into oblivion. But here's the real kicker to all of this. Let me remind you what kind of vibe this judge is actually giving off. So far, he's denied bail. I mean, flat out. Said Diddy was violent. So did his own attorneys, by the way. Read him kind of like a paperback thriller. And said his community ties made him more dangerous, not less. And that's cold-blooded, right? This is not your maybe he's a good dad type of courtroom. We're talking about a federal judge who has, on the record, called Diddy a batterer. Not allegedly, not supposedly, and obviously the video showed that he is in fact a batterer. So this is not just colorful language. That is legal language, deliberate, damning, and sticky as heck, right? The word isn't going away. So why? Because it tells the court and the public that we're not dealing with one bad night or a heated moment. We're talking about pattern, repetition, and control. And when you hear pattern and violence in federal court, that's like pouring gasoline on the sentencing memo. Now, let's try to zoom in on what he did get convicted on, which was the Mann Act. Now, you've probably heard it before and thought, well, wait, isn't that the thing they used to go after pimps for in the 60s when they crossed over sex workers over state lines? And it is kind of, but it's still on the books. And it's no slap on the wrist charge either. It's the real deal when you pair it with violence, coercion, and influence. And that's the cocktail Diddy's been accused of for several years, right? Now, his own team admitted he was violent, then tried to slide into a batterer's rehab program before sentencing. And like preemptive damage control is what it felt like. That's like punching someone in the face and handing them an ice pack before the cops actually arrive. It's nonsense in a way, right? But judges are not impressed by that move. And it doesn't scream remorse, it screams strategy. And that's where I think, or what it looks like right now for everybody. But now you're probably asking, if the judge is already convinced, why is he asking for comparable sentences? And it might be simpler than we think. He wants the sentencing decision to be bulletproof. No loopholes, no technicalities, no appeals on the grounds of, hey, but that guy got probation over there. So he's covering all the angles he possibly can, probably to put down the strictest sentence he possibly can. Because if he drops the hammer, and it seems like, let's be honest, he probably will, he needs that verdict to stand tall, even if Diddy's dream team of lawyers throws the whole legal kitchen sink at it. And they're good attorneys, they probably will. So this isn't mercy, it's mathematics. He's just doing the math. Now here's where it gets pretty heavy. The judge didn't just say Diddy was violent. He said that violence comes suddenly, quickly, and without warning when it comes to Diddy. So you know what that means in legal terms? That's unpredictability. And that's a red flag waving in neon. So when a judge says someone's behavior is impulsive and escalates fast, they're basically saying this person is not a safe person to have in public. Now, you can't parole that, you can't probation that, you lock it down or lock those type of people up. So this isn't just about punishment, this is about containment of a very violent character before he does something bad to society again. Because if he does walk out and something happens again, guess who's catching the fallout? It won't be Diddy, it's going to be the court. And let me tell you, no federal judge wants that to be a headline. Now, I've seen some of Diddy's fans online talking about his rebrand. So we've got to stop with that. Because you don't get to rebrand from federal charges like you're launching a skincare line or a clothing line or something like that. They think if they silence the media and mute the content creators and put Diddy in a turtleneck reading Malcolm X quotes, by October, boom, he'll have this comeback. And no, I don't think that's going to happen. The judge isn't watching your PR campaign. He's reading sealed affidavits. He's got witness statements that the jury never saw. He's got the receipts, and he's not scrolling Instagram. This isn't optics. This is sentencing. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all turns out. Now, is parole or probation on the table? I mean, technically, maybe. But realistically, I don't think so, guys. Because everything the judge has said so far, from calling Diddy a threat, to denying bail, to citing public danger, is like a big neon sign that said, this man is not getting community supervision. So, interesting to say the least. And if by some twist of fate he does walk, the backlash is likely going to be nuclear. I mean, politically, legally, socially, every single system that claims to protect victims will look like a joke. And you better believe this judge doesn't want that on his record. Plus, he seems like a pretty prudent and intelligent judge, so he's the judge, right? So here's where we land. Unless something absolutely wild happens, like a star witnessing, recanting, or aliens descending from the ceiling of the courtroom, Diddy is facing serious time. And you can feel the court setting the table for it too. So they're not racing towards leniency by any stretch of the imagination. They're slow cooking a sentence, one that can't be overturned and one that will stick solidly. And it's not about revenge, it's about precedent. Because if someone with that much money, power, and influence can't buy their way out, that sends a very clear message. It sends the message to victims, to celebrities, to people of power, and to the system. And maybe, just maybe, that message will echo louder than the silence that let it happen for so long. So yeah, Diddy might have dodged RICO, but he didn't walk away clean, and he's not going to walk away clean. And now he's standing in front of a judge who doesn't look amused in the least, doesn't sound impressed, and definitely doesn't seem interested in playing rehab fairy godmother. So it's not going to be about music or gossip or celebrity or clout. This is going to be about control, consequence, and a system finally, well, maybe deciding it won't be played. And that right there might be the most important beat Diddy's ever missed. So thank you guys so much for watching The Baseline. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Diddy's going to get off clean? Do you think the judge is going to slap him as hard as I think he's going to slap him? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And again, I appreciate you guys watching The Baseline. Cheers, everybody.